Hello everybody, it's Raquel from Play for Promise, and I just wanted to share a quick message for parents, teachers, and educators, being that this is the beginning of the school year, and some educators from daycare to higher education may have already met their students, still getting to know their students, and some will be meeting their students tomorrow for the first time. So what really pushed me to make this video was thinking of this 2-year-old that I worked with back in May. The director of the program approached me and was basically saying that this child is aggressive, wasn't able to learn, wasn't doing his best. And the whole time I'm thinking, this child is 2 and she did not know what his home life was like. Now, being that I worked with the child at home and at the daycare, I kind of understood why some of the behaviors were occurring. So my perspective was very different. Unfortunately, this is a perspective that a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a good amount of educators take. And I've met educators from all around the world, parents, in multiple settings. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's common, but I wouldn't say it's rare for them to speak of a child in a demeaning way, and in a way that a child may internalize what they hear and have a difficult time excelling. I've heard plenty of educators, again, from daycare to higher education, call kids lazy, aggressive, unable to learn, unteachable. And I kind of stay, I'm like aghast, and I do my best to stay calm because I know they're speaking of this child, and I'm frightened that this child is internalizing this. And I don't know if some educators stop and think, what is this child going through at home? What struggles do they encounter as soon as they wake up in the morning to the moment they go to sleep? And what can I do to make them feel safe, at least in the school, so that way they feel that they can learn? A lot of these kids who have had childhood traumas, whenever they're presented with a challenge, they go into fight or flight mode, and fight, fright, or flight, actually. And they may be really behave in a aggressive way with their teachers, with other students. They may cry, they may shut down, and it's all because it's their coping mechanism. They're trying to protect themselves. But a lot of, I can't say a lot, so I'm going to correct myself. But there are plenty of educators who do not consider the home environment. And the CDC study showed that about over 50% actually of kids in the classroom have experienced one or more adverse events in their lives. So this is over 50%, and that doesn't necessarily mean that everything has been reported, so we're not sure. And a lot of these kids may have underlying conditions that we don't know about. Some of these families do not have the means to get more thorough testing. So is a child capable of learning the way that they're being taught? Do they need additional support? And again, I've also met amazing teachers who are very understanding. But to the teachers who are saying things like a child's lazy, aggressive, and again, I've had plenty, and I've even had to take a step back plenty of times. Really, when a child is behaving in a certain way, it's even hard for me, and I have to remind myself I don't know what's going on at home, and I just have to be an example of calm, tranquility, and just take a moment. So teachers, it's really important, it's the beginning of the school year, that we really consider what the child's going through at home. And we don't even know what's going on in their head. They can have a great home life, but sometimes they may not be able to learn the same way that they're being taught, and the frustrations that they're going through. So I really want every kid to have an amazing school year, and I'm sure most teachers do too. It's not just a 9-to-5 job. There's plenty of teachers I know that are investing in the future. But I think questions that we have to ask as educators are, what's going on at home, or what don't we know that's going on at home? Are there underlying behavior issues? Are we making the environment safe? Are we speaking in a way that we're speaking to a child's strengths instead of their weakness? Making sure that they are achieving their greatness as much as possible. Are we doing that? And this is something we can constantly ask, because we can pause and make a shift in that moment. We can really make a shift in that moment. It's our choice. And again, it's really frustrating. I know at times, teachers, I'm not saying that it's a quick shift and that's it, and discounting anything that you're feeling, because again, I admire teachers. It is hard being a teacher, but just something to consider, before we say these really harsh words that really the child may internalize. So let's just think about how we can speak to them in a way that will inspire them, that will motivate them, rather than cause them to already feel more negatively about themselves than they may already feel. A lot of these kids, when they're acting out, they're embarrassed, they're ashamed of themselves. There's a lot of negative emotions, and we don't have to make it worse. We can remind them that they have greatness within, and we're going to do our best to help them while they're in our classroom, working with us in the OT session, at home. Parents, you can do the same. Me being a therapist, that I work in the homes as well, in the classroom, in my therapy room, or at the home, I have that choice. I have that ability to make that shift, and I have to make the shift all the time. So teachers, students, have an amazing year, and let's speak to everyone's greatness. Let's do our best to speak to everyone's greatness. So that's my spiel. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the last free day of summer, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.